In this video, you're going to learn how to set up and configure Babel Polyfill. So Babel Polyfill is going to allow your applications to run in a wider range of browsers and browser versions. So right now we've been primarily using the latest version of Chrome, but what if we do want to support something like IE11? Can we be so sure that the app is going to work? So to demonstrate why we need to use this, all I'm going to do is add an expense to the list. I'll add in rent, I'll add the amount, $10.95, and now we do have an item showing up. Now there is a tool that I've used to allow me to simulate the app in other browsers. It's called Browser Stack, and you do not need to set this up. You can just follow along watching for this part. Browser Stack, well, it is a great tool, and I would consider it something I could never live without. It is also pretty expensive, but it does allow you to simulate your website in any browser on any OS. So it's not actually simulating, it's really running this on a virtual machine that Browser Stack has. So this is our application on IE11. And if I refresh the page, we're going to notice that while it should show that item, it's actually not going to. Right here, everything has crashed. And it's crashing because we're using array methods like includes, which aren't supported over here. So let's head over to babel.js.io/REPL once again. And what we're going to do is type a little bit of code. So on the left-hand side, we know if we type some JSX, like a p tag with the text test inside, what do we get? We get it converted into react.createElement. So Babel is doing its job. This is going to work in older browsers. But what about something like the method includes, an array method that is pretty modern? I'm going to access an array, .includes. I'm going to see if it includes Andrew. Obviously, it does not. On the right-hand side, though, what do we get? We get exactly what we have on the left-hand side. So Babel didn't change this at all, which means that if your older browser doesn't support includes, even after Babel processes it, it's still going to crash because it still doesn't support includes. We can fix this by using Babel Polyfill. Babel Polyfill is going to add in all of those methods that older browsers don't have. It's a fantastic tool. We can find the page for Babel Polyfill by going to the docs. Down below, packages, Babel Polyfill. This is a very easy one to integrate. All we really have to do is name it in our Webpack config file. First, let's go ahead and actually add it. Over in the terminal, I'm going to shut down the dev server and we're going to use yarn add, and we're going to be adding Babel-Polyfill. The version we're going to be using is at 6.26.0. I'm going to go ahead and add this, and we're going to add this as a regular dependency, so it is available when Webpack runs in production. And once it is added, all we need to do is make a single change to the Webpack config file. So down below, what we're going to be doing is changing entry. Entry can be a string. You have a single entry point. We define the file right here, but it can also be an array of strings. So we can have multiple entry points. What we're going to do is set it up to be an array. So I can put the opening square bracket over here and the closing over here. And all we need to do to add Babel Polyfill is to add it as the first item. So I am going to add as the first item the string Babel-Polyfill. This is going to set up Babel Polyfill, and then it is going to actually include our application. So it starts with app.js, then it grabs all of the things app.js imports. This is now going to allow us to use features like includes in browsers that might not actually support them. Babel Polyfill goes through the process of adding support for us. Now that we have this in place, we can actually test things out. We can go ahead and rerun the dev server. Once the dev server is up, we can switch back over to Chrome. I am going to go back to Browser Stack, give the page a refresh, and this time around, we should see that the application does load because all of the ES6 and ES7 methods we happen to be using are now supported. It looks like it is taking a moment, but I believe that is just the dev server starting up. Right here? Yep, there we go. So what's happening? It is going through the process. Right here, we do see rent, so everything is working. What was a broken app in IE11 is now a working app because of Babel Polyfill. Now, you don't have to worry about the individual features. Babel Polyfill handles that for you, and it really is a no-brainer. You just set it and forget it. All it does is it gives you access to a wider range of browsers in terms of what your application supports. Now that we have this in place, we are going to deploy the final application in the next video. So let's go ahead and jump right over there.